Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Prime Sports World. We're going to be bringing you the Prime, where we're going to be bringing you NFL free agent winners or losers so far. Not all deals have been signed, and not every player has been signed so far. But we're going to be talking about our winners or losers so far before we do one big recap show with against free agents. I'm in David Hubbin right there, Mr. CPA Hopkins. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're looking for consistent content on Facebook and YouTube, and today for the first time ever, we're streaming on Twitch. Go to Prime Sports World on Twitch. You can watch our video there as well. Also, if you want to thank our friends over there, Roots there, for sponsoring us there, Prime Sports World. Let your presence be felt. Go check out their winning collection, or their spring collection on their website. I'll drop the link to that on our Facebook page, along with the NFL Stream Facebook page as well. Man, happy Tuesday, TJ. How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm back working overnight, so I'm a little. I just gotta get readjusted to staying up all night again. But it ain't no thing. I'm all right.
I did the overnight thing for a while. It does take its toll, but
It does,
if you're used to it, you'll be okay.
and I will be.
So yeah, let's talk about some NFL free agency. So let's just talk about the spectrum before we get into winners and losers. Like, what has just been the most surprising thing for you so far in free agency this particular cycle?
Well, it's always one of the things that always surprises me is the teams that need to make moves that never end up making moves. Right? So like, if you're a team like the Dallas Cowboys and you know you got to make moves, but you haven't done anything. You've lost players,
Important players to their team.
important players, and you haven't done a thing to get them back. Well, not get them back, but like get them back
Replace
at the
them.
wrong. Yeah, there you go. Replace them. You haven't done anything to replace them. So that's what usually, yeah, that's what's surprising for me. Like the teams that need to make moves that don't make moves. That's my biggest takeaway because I fully thought the Cowboys would be active because they always feel like they're a couple pieces away, but they always how they act in the off season indicates that like that doesn't indicate that like you're more than a few pieces away. And when it's always time for rubber to meet the road, like i.e. the playoff game against San Francisco, you're not a couple pieces away. Like you're like you guys like you need more than that. And for you to just let like you said important pieces walk and not even make a bid to replace any of them, like you lost what's his name to Denver. What?
Randy Gregory.
Yeah, you lost Randy Gregory to Denver. The Darius Smith hits the market. You don't make a bid.
I mean, yeah,
Nothing.
I mean, they lost Leo Collins. I mean, they also lost another part of their offensive line is escaping right now. Connor Williams is also not on this team. I think Wilson's gone. Amari
No.
Cooper is no longer part of this team. Like, yeah, I mean, those are big pieces to what is going to be a Super Bowl hopeful roster. So let's get into it. Let's talk about first. Let's stay on the positive side for this. Winners
Hmm.
when it comes to free agency so far. Who are the
Well,
big winners when it comes to free agency?
well, you teased one yesterday, so I'm not gonna take yours. I'm gonna let you have that one. A big winner for a winner for me would have to be the Chargers, 100%. Like going back to it, not not just them trading for Khalil Mack. I think that caught everybody by surprise. But and
It
them
wasn't so much. It
signing
wasn't so much that Khalil Mack got traded. I just wasn't supposed. I
it
didn't
was
expect
what
the
he
Chargers
went
to be the
for,
team. I wasn't
or
expecting the Chargers to be the team to step up for to make that trade.
yeah, me either. But it's them signing away J.C. Jackson, like yeah, away from New England. Like that was a huge move for them. Like to get J.C. to shore up that secondary, and it just tells me, yeah, yo, the Chargers are Shay.
They're going
Yo,
for it. I mean,
they going
this is no.
they going all in. They
I
are
mean,
going
they're gonna
all in
have
on this.
Patrick Stan the second, or not Patrick Stan the second. They have who's the son of whose son do they have on that team? Hold on.
It's not coming to me.
Uh, Hall of Fame corner. Oh, come on.
Oh, Asante Samuel Jr.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. If Sanjay Samuel might not be Hall of Fame. Should be, probably.
He's a maybe.
Yeah,
He's a
he's
maybe.
probably a borderline Hall
He's,
of Famer.
he's a
Uh,
maybe. He's a maybe.
4B, yeah, I teased it a little bit yesterday on yesterday's show. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. I love bringing in Hayden Hurst. I love bringing in Leo Collins. I love bringing in Alex Kappa. I love bringing in Ted Karrakis. They also re-signed Eli Apple. They franchise tagged Jesse Bates. I mean, they brought in Michael Thomas. I mean, this is if you like, this team had one major weakness, and it was their offensive line. And what do you go out and do? You bring in 3 guys who can start for you next week. Ted Karrakis will probably be your offensive your center. Um, Alex Kappa will probably be one of your guards, and Leo Collins will play right tackle. And then you have Jonah Williams on this team still. Um, I think they'll probably draft someone to play right or left guard, which is still
Hmm.
an area of need. And Cincinnati, I personally love what Cincinnati Bengals did with this free agency period. I'm really impressed with what they've done here. Like really great job. Like you realize you have a weakness, address it.
Yeah, that's the sign of the culture change that Joe Burrow wanted to see in Cincinnati. Like now, you can't you can't be cheap in this
No.
league.
Oh yeah,
Like
but I mean, they also benefit the fact that like these players kind of fell into the laps. I mean, like New England is doing a woeful job in free agency right now. We'll get to them in a bit, but like I like letting these guys walk and Khalil Collins. Like, what was the why would the Cowboys should have just kept him. Like, let him play one more season for them. They're gonna need offensive linemen because it's not like I don't get it. Like the Washington football team or Commanders, whatever they want to be called now. That defensive line is going to be a problem for them next season.
absolutely.
Philadelphia has 3
Another,
first-round picks. You don't think they're going to use one of those on some sort of edge rusher to make your life miserable? They will. They will.
if they're smart.
Uh,
Again, no, like I'm dead ass. If they're smart, like
well,
it's
it is the Philadelphia Eagles, so who knows?
yeah, you got like you got to be smart. Um, Another winner for me would have to be the Raiders.
No, I mean, without a doubt. I mean, whenever you end up with the
Like
best wide receiver in football on your team, that's for sure a win. And that's not even the only thing that I think is a for sure win for them. I mean,
no,
the
you getting Chandler Jones in free agency. You're able to keep Max Crosby. Well, I didn't expect Max Crosby to what you call it like be gone from them. I thought they was going to do everything in their power to keep him anyway. And that's a player that you want to show faith in by not tagging him when
yeah,
his first contract is up. So it's hey, I'm going to do right by you, and I'm going to sign you right now. So the Raiders are definitely the whole AFC West is winning right now. Like
I couldn't agree with you more. Besides, I don't love. I mean, I guess the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't love what they've done so far, but they don't have a lot of money. But I mean, the Chargers, the Denver, Las Vegas, all are winners when it comes to free agency this term around. Like
absolutely not.
Denver, you get the best. You get Russell Wilson. That's an automatic win.
Yeah, and the Kansas City Chiefs are like you said, they just don't have the money to make the moves that they want. Like there's a reason Tyrann Mathieu is not re-signed. Like they're
Well, I mean,
trying to.
yeah, but they essentially chose Justin Reed over him, which we'll get to Tyron Matthew a bit here.
Yes, we will. Who's a loser for you?
Well, I got another winner too, and this one actually just came out in the last couple hours when it comes to Miami Dolphins. Being able to bring in uh, Armstead on
Yeah,
top of
Teron
the wide
Armstead.
receiver they already added, adding Connor Williams to the offensive line. Like this is a pretty good offseason for the Miami Dolphins. Chase Edmonds is a good change of pace back. Raheem Mostert when he's healthy is a really good running back. If you get Teddy Bridgewater to back up Tua on decent money. I really like what Miami did here, big time.
Yeah, well, them signing Teron Armstead like literally 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, he was on a graphic that we're going to show later that I had to alter.
Excuse me. Them signing Teron Armstead like again is them showing faith in their young QB, right? And After what he's gone through the first 2 years of his career, to account like he needs that reassurance. Like he needs to know that if he messes up, he doesn't have to worry about looking over his shoulder to see the wily vet coming in to spell him. And Mike McDaniels, yeah, that's his name, right? The new head coach in Miami.
It's Mike McDaniel, I think.
Yeah. So like, and he did the right thing. Like he gets the job. The first person he calls is Tua, and rightly so. Like, hey, I'm gonna and basically abide to him. Like, hey, I'm gonna get you right. We're gonna do this. It might not be easy, but we in this together. Basically, that's all he's saying. We in this together. Getting Teron Armstead, getting the premier free agent of this
I
class.
know, I know that Armstead has dealt with injuries last few seasons, but he was the best tackle in free agency, and for you to get him,
Like
kudos.
you can make the argument that he was the best player in this free agency class. Like he leads the way. Like he was the top free agent for a lot of people. For them to get him, that tells me like, hey, we're all in on Tua. We don't make this move if we don't think Tua's the guy. Or maybe
I
they
agree
do
with I
anyway.
agree with you on that. I 100% agree with you on that. Um, so yeah, swinging over to the losers, like you kind of touched on it a little bit when you talked about the winners. Dallas Cowboys,
Yes.
losing a bunch of stuff off their offensive line, losing Cedric Wilson, uh, trading away Amari Cooper. It's just all not good stuff.
It's just
Like when it
not
comes to
good.
like losing Randy Gregory, like this is all just bad stuff for when it comes to Dallas. And like you had to like the Randy Gregory thing looks horrible. Like every time he just he keeps like putting like Dallas wanted to put all this language in his contract that if he got suspended or blah blah blah. By the way, this isn't Dallas isn't the only team with that kind of language in their contracts, but
hmm So
it
like
doesn't look particularly good.
No, and Randy Gregory was kind of like, I get why he's upset, and you can also say like, I get why Dallas did what they did, right? Like you have a trouble, like you're a player with a troubled past,
I mean,
right?
he's basically hasn't played and like he basically didn't play for 2 seasons.
like you're a player with a troubled past, and that was Dallas's way of covering their own butts. You're upset because the language in your contract didn't match everybody else's language in their contract. And Dallas is pretty much saying, well, that's because you're a troubled player. But if I'm Gregory, I absolutely want the same language in my contract that everybody else has in their contract. You can't make me, like, you can't single me out as the exception. Right? Like, you can't do that. Like, I'm willing to bet Zeke Elliott doesn't have any suspension language in
Actually,
his contract.
so his so actually that's a standard in Dallas. Every Dallas Cowboy contract has that language.
So actually, Randy Gregory is a culture. He's a culture changer. Like, cause now, because of this, now they have to go back and redo everybody's contract to add the same language. And I'm pretty sure that goes against.
I think that language is already in every contract in Dallas.
It's not that Dirk does Dirk. Dak doesn't have that in his contract. There's like
Are you
no.
100% sure about that?
That was the player that Randy Gregory named. He's like,
Okay.
Dak ain't got that. Dak ain't got that language in his
Because
contract.
what I had read is that that's standard in every Cowboy contract, that they have that same language in every contract that they take.
It probably is now because he made like he brought that language public.
Yeah, maybe.
And I'm pretty sure that probably goes against the NFLPA. Like the Players Association is not going for, you can't have one player with different language in his contract and that not be universal on your team. Like that can't go. Like that is wrong on so many levels to me. What, like, trouble past or not, like you gotta have the same universal language in your contract.
100% agree with you on that front. How about your other losers? Who else we got?
Green Bay. Like not even being funny, Green Bay. Like it's yes, Green Bay's a loser. You lose your premier edge rusher and Zadarius Smith. You lose a you lose a starting cog on that offensive line and
You're
Lucas
losing a Hall of
Patrick.
Fame wide receiver.
You losing a Hall of Fame wide receiver in Devontae Adams. I was saving the best for last. All right. Like we hear year in and year out how the Green Bay offensive line is one of the best lines in football. and you're losing pieces of it because one guy takes up all the money. And I'm not here to say Aaron Rodgers don't deserve the money. Like they basically underpaid him for like every quarterback who gets big money, they are severely underpaid because of what they're asked to do and how they are catered to in this league, right? You get all the credit when you win, you get none of the blame when you lose. And that's if they like you. If the media loves you, you get all the credit when you win, you get none of the blame when you lose. Right? Like we've seen the media go up in arms for years over Aaron Rodgers coming up short in the playoffs up until like the last 3 or 4. Right? Losing Lucas Patrick, losing what's his name? What's Billy? Is it Billy Turner?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
was
think
captain.
yeah, losing him. Like I said, losing Zadarius Smith. Like so now you have to retool and rebrand everything. You got to find a way to get weapons and edge rushing with what you got. And again, notoriously, you're Green Bay. Free agents don't come there unless you overspend. Like Aaron Rodgers, I have never seen a first ballot Hall of Famer struggle to get free agents to come play with him the way he has. Like I
I
don't
agree with you on Green Bay. I think there's for sure a big time
like
loser. There's no
like
other way
it.
to describe it. Whenever you lose Montana, the way that they lost him,
Mhm.
that's an L.
Like like Tom Brady was able to get guys to come to New England all for the sake of winning. Like if you're Aaron Rodgers, your sales pitch is, hey, you come to Green Bay, we're gonna win 12 games a year. We're gonna win a division because I'm the best quarterback in the division. We're gonna win the division. All we really got to do is win 2 playoff games, and we in the Super Bowl. The only difference is like I'm pretty sure Tom Brady had the same sales pitch, but they got to the Super Bowl. Like that part, like that end part. So, like Aaron Rodgers has, I don't get it. Like I don't get it how he's not been able to attract free agents to come there. Like I
I
just
want
don't
to talk
get
about
it.
another big winner. We kind of glazed over it, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are another huge winner. I mean, being able to not only get Chris Godwin off the franchise tag and sign him to a contention, re-signing Ryan Jensen, re-signing Carlos Davis, re-signing Leonard Fournette this morning, and then getting Shaq Mason in a trade that makes literally no sense whatsoever on any front whatsoever, and then signing Russell Gage, who's a good receiver who can fill in for Chris Godwin until he gets healthy. On the flip side of that Shaq Mason trade makes the New England Patriots a big time loser. I do not understand why you would trade a starting guard for a 5th round pick. That couldn't have been the best offer on the table. It makes zero sense why they did that. Um, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, T.Y. Montgomery is a nice player, but he's nothing special. Resigning James White, like nothing they did here in free agency
Losing
makes
and
them better.
you lost the premier corner in football. Like
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and J.C. Jackson's gone. He's no longer walking. He's
if
not walking through that door.
if J.C. Jackson said I'm the best corner in football, you can't knock him like he talking crazy. Like
No,
you really can't. So it ain't like he don't have an argument. Uh, who else? Like so, I was gonna say the Colts too because you trade away
until
Carson.
until tonight, I guess, because I really like the trade for Ngakwe and I really like the Matt Ryan trade. Um,
No, like for me, like that was almost like a panic move. Like
I
again,
personally like it. I mean,
I don't think they needed to get rid of Carson Wentz. Like you're in a
I do not just I don't disagree with you there, but to get Unique Ngakwe on that defensive front line, that could be special.
could be could be,
Yeah,
but it's I don't see them like you have a hole at tight end, and I here's what's crazy. I didn't even know Hayden Hurst was on the market.
yeah.
Didn't
I
know
mean,
Hayden Hurst.
the Falcons declined his 5th year option, so
Didn't know Hayden Hurst was on the market. So you had a chance to go get him. C.J. Uzoma was literally on the team that went to the Super Bowl. You ain't call him like nothing. Didn't tell up
they
nothing.
must like Moelle Cox for whatever.
I man, all of what I just said, which was a bunch of nothing, yeah, like you read off Mo Wally Cox's numbers, it is nothing to.
He does have upside, but yeah,
How long have they been waiting for that upside to kick in?
I mean he's only had like one where he's even been on the radar of anyone's radar. So
So yeah, no, you gotta. Yeah, the Colts are a like you're giving Matt Ryan, a veteran QB, basically less of what he had to work with in Atlanta,
true,
right? At least,
true.
like at least in Atlanta, he had Calvin Ridley before his mental health. He had to take that break. What's his name? Kyle Pitts, the tight end, and Cordell Patterson, the Swiss Army knife, and Russell Gage, and a bunch of other guys. He goes to Indy. The only surefire weapons he has, Pippen Jr. on the outside, and Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, 100%. I also think that another loser here is all of the teams that didn't get Deshaun Watson. So the Carolina Panthers, for sure, loser. There's no plan there in Carolina for whatever's going to be the
And
future.
they just announced today that they are out on Baker Mayfield, so that's one less destination for Baker Mayfield to get sent to.
Yeah, I mean, and
So
their like their quarterback situation is not ideal at all. Like I know they've loaded up on defensive players, like signing a bunch of players to a bunch of different contracts on defense, but they have the biggest hole on their team is their quarterback situation, and they haven't made it any better. And the New Orleans
no,
Saints, another team, like they're cap strong, so like Deshaun Watson trade could have helped them. So now they signed Jameis Winston. I mean, they lose out on Marcus Williams, so they started Marcus May. The Saints are a loser. Um,
yeah,
and then
I
if
don't.
San Francisco doesn't figure out Jimmy Garoppolo situation, I think they're a loser too. And
Again,
and, and
like
you know,
yeah, like we can talk about Cleveland and how they handled Baker all we want, but San Francisco is doing the same thing with Jimmy G.
yeah, I
Like
mean,
they
it's
are
getting to the
not.
point where they may have to cut him.
Like you gotta do something. Like you can't say because all the language that you used towards the end of the season, it was looking like yeah you're gonna move off of him, but it's March 22nd, 21st, whatever the day is, and Jimmy G is still a San
Member of your
Francisco
team.
49er.
Yep. So I mean, it's pretty head scratching. So let's talk about moving on from winners losers. Let's talk about our favorite signing so far. So far in free agency.
Underratedly, I like the Uzama signing in New York. I like the fact that they gave young Zach Wilson another target to throw to. Like I'm really liking that sign. I think if he can stay healthy, I think he can definitely be a big, especially in the red zone. He can be a big target for Zach Wilson, a big safety net for him, and get his confidence up, get that going, get that established, and at least develop that rapport with them between the two of them going forward. And yeah, to me, like I think CJ Uzoma automatic. Well, I'm not trying to put him above that. Who's that receiver that they got that's really goddamn good?
Uh,
Quietly
for
had
for are you talking about one second? Pull up the roster. Uh,
like quietly he had his rookie
Elijah Mitchell,
season with
is that his name? Elijah
Elijah
Moore.
Moore. Yeah, him. So I'm not saying Uzoma becomes like target one, right? Because Moore's been there. He's the new guy, but I really like that signing of Uzoma to the Jets. I think that could be very good, a very big signing for them.
That's I really like this Hassan Reddick. Like I know I went J.C. Jackson last time we did this show, so I wanted to spice it up a little bit. I really like this Hassan Reddick deal to the Philadelphia Eagles. 3 years, $45 million. For basically it comes with incentives. So it's basically like a $15 million deal for a guy who's had 10 double-digit sacks the last 3 seasons in a row, or last 2 seasons in a row. Like, and he gave a little bit of a discount to go back home where he played. I think the Hassan Reddick deal is really smart. And Philadelphia got a really good player on the team. On the
Yeah,
other
like it.
hand,
Go ahead, go
the
ahead.
least favorite deal so far.
Least favorite deal. Like, could this be like deals that just didn't make any sense?
Yeah, yeah. Okay with that?
Oh, trying to think. What was the deal that made
I'll give you one.
absolutely no
I'll go first. Von Miller signing a 6-year, $120 million contract, including $51 million guaranteed. They're going to be paying him about $17.5 million. They're going to be paying him until he's like 38 years old. I don't think Von Miller has 6 more years of football in him. This contract makes zero sense. I don't really understand why you'd sign Von Miller to a 6-year contract. Like, I know you need an edge rusher, and I actually really like what Buffalo did in their free agents. I like Jameson Crowder signing. I like OJ Howard on this team. I like Duke Johnson, but I like even trading for Case Keenum in a trade. Giving up a 7th round pick for a guy who's going to be a proven backup. I like it. But this Von Miller trade makes zero sense to me whatsoever. 6 years makes like why? Why 6 years? Why could why who signs a 6-year contract? Like
at
it doesn't make any sense.
at 30 whatever years old Von Miller is.
Von Miller's 32. His birthday is actually in a few days, so he's going to be 33. So when this contract is up, he's going to be 39 years old.
Whew.
Make it make sense.
He's like make it make sense. Like I can't. I mean, like obviously, like they feel like you're in Buffalo's in the championship window. Like they obviously feel that
They
way.
100% are. So I mean, if this is what it
And
takes. I mean, I guess, but
I would say the move that makes no sense to me is Cleveland. KC not re-signing Tyrann Mathieu. Like the guy has done everything for you. Like he's led your team in tackles like so many times, and for you to just basically let him walk is like, what are you doing?
I mean, yeah, I don't really. That is a real head scratcher. Like they basically chose Justin Reed over him, and I don't think Justin Reed is talented.
Like
It's very head scratching to say the least.
yeah, that move right there is what do you, like honestly it's what are you doing? Like what move is that? Like the best player on your defense arguably for since he's been there and you like nothing? Like you couldn't even try to trade him to get some for him?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be interested to see what happens with that situation. Speaking of that situation, let's talk about the available free agents that are still available. Looking at these names, best remaining free agents, you got Bobby Wagner, Javion Clowney, Tyrann Mathieu, Odell Beckham Jr., Jay, J.C. Treader, and Akeem Hicks. Any of those names kind of jumping out at you? There's some other names too that I didn't include, but those were just kind of the main ones when I was looking this up,
Yeah,
and those are kind of the
it's
names that kind of jumped out at me.
yeah,
The
it's
one
just
that I is shocking me is the fact that Tyrann Mathieu is still a free agent. Like the fact that once it was being clear that Kansas City wasn't going to resign him, I'm shocked he still hasn't made another team. Like somebody hasn't already signed him.
yeah, and Odell Beckham is
I mean,
a
Dwayne
hundred
Brown's
percent,
still a free agent, but he's 37, so I don't know how much value he
and
still has.
and Odell Beckham is 100% going to be a member of the Rams. It's just a matter of it's just a matter of numbers at this point. Like for them, like for those two parties, obviously you want to keep Odell because you saw like healthy, you saw what he could do, and it was just very 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 unfortunate that he tears his ACL in the Super Bowl because he was
I mean, you can
poised like he was.
make the argument. I mean, if he doesn't get hurt, they destroy
They blow them
the
out.
Bengals
They blow them out absolutely
because their offense was
because
really clicking and they didn't have any answers for him. And then all of a sudden he gets hurt, and, like everything gets bogged down.
it becomes all right. It's Cooper
Melvin
Cup or
Gordon's still
bust,
available. It's kind of surprising. I thought for sure he
and
if
I thought for sure,
Duke Johnson signed before Melvin.
and I for sure thought he expressed interest in staying in Denver. I 100% thought that they were gonna bring him back because I thought the interest was mutual between the two of them.
It felt like a mutual interest as well when they were always in these conversations. So it's surprising that didn't get done right away.
So yeah, Odell Beckham, I'm for sure he's not going to be on this list too much longer. I just think it's just a matter of them um, coming across on numbers. Same thing with Tyrann Mathieu. I was like, for if you're Jadeveon Clowney, if you need a run stopper, Go ahead. Like that's your guy.
Javion Clowney tied his sack total for his career. Like he had 9 sacks last season, um, which is more. It ties his career high. Play next to Myles Garrett, obviously.
Miles Garrett. And if I'm Cleveland, I'm like, why would I not bring him back? Why would I not bring him back? Like, if I'm Cleveland, why would I
I mean, if
not
you're
bring
gonna
him
make
back?
a real shot, what is money at this
What?
point? I mean,
Right.
you're already
Right.
spending an arm and a leg for Deshaun Watson.
And Bobby Wagner, I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of teams that probably call Bobby Wagner. But if I'm Bobby Wagner at this stage in my career, I want to win. I've done enough losing these past 2 years in Seattle. Goddamn it, I'm trying to win now. I've had enough of losing, especially when you come off the stretch like the 3 4 year stretch that they had, where you go to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. That's yeah, you get spoiled by that. Like that's a lot of winning.
Yeah,
And if I'm Bobby Wagner, I ain't trying to go back to you know 4 5 6 wins a season. I've done that. I'm trying to do that shit no more.
no, I mean he's
Like
trying to. I mean the guy wants to go to a winner. He deserves to be on a winner. The other guys on, I mean, Akeem Hicks, we'll see where he ends up signing. J.C. Treader, just kind of on this list to fill it out. But there are some other notable games like Calais Campbell, former Defensive Player of the Year. Melvin Ingram is still on the open market. He didn't sign until it basically started last year. Rob Gronkowski, if he doesn't retire, he's sure going to be end up in Tampa Bay. I don't see him going anywhere else. Jarvis Landry, kind of surprising. He's still a free agent at this point. I kind of thought with all the Green Bay conversation that would be a done deal at this point. You know,
same thing with it's I don't get it. Like some of these guys, I don't understand it. Like why are they not being signed? Like what's being talked about? What's being said? Like what are the numbers? Because at the end of the day, money makes the world go round.
true. And I mean, Dwayne Brown's another one. I mean, really good offensive tackle. He has declined here in a little bit, and he will be 37 years old before the season starts. Um, so we'll see what happens with him. He's still productive. Could be. I mean, he should be a Bear.
Like if I'm Tennessee, Jarvis Landry hit the market. Like hey, I gotta make that call.
Well, I mean, Tennessee. I mean, they traded for Robert Woods instead, basically.
And they'd rather do that. So I
Yeah.
don't I don't get it.
Julio Jones is still available. He's a free agent right now. It's being released by Tennessee. Deshaun Elliott's a good safety who's available. Bryce Callahan, a good corner. Anthony Barr is still a free agent. Marquez Valdez-Scantling hasn't signed anywhere either yet. So,
No,
you know,
and he was linked to Chicago a couple times, so I don't know what happened with that.
Dominican Sue, Sheldon Richardson, Patrick Peterson, none of these guys have signed. Kevin King, Larry Ogunjobi, after his contract was voided by the Bears, still free agent. Dante Hightower, Riley Beef, Joe Hayden, like these guys are all still available right now.
Well,
Andy
Larry
Dalton,
in Larry Ogunjobi's case, failing your physical does not help you.
no, sure. That's probably the worst thing that can happen when you're a free agent, you're trying to sign with a new team. You fail the physical, and then every other team's like, "Why did you? What's going on?" Like, we're not going to sign you if you're just going to fail the physical. And we're going to have to void the whole contract. Like, no, I'm good.
So yeah, failing your physical does not help you because we thought that was a dead deal, that done deal, and then you see, oh, he failed his physical, and then it's like, damn, now you got can't have you on here. Like I don't know, like what happened, like because maybe he had one physical and he passed that one, and then he had another one and he failed that one. So I don't know the process.
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see when like what comes out and where he ends up signing down the ride. Of the guys on the list, who do you think has the most to offer a team next season? Before we wrap up here.
I'd probably go Honey Badger.
Yeah, I'm going to go Honey Badger too. The dude was good last season. It's just unfortunate that I don't really understand why Kansas City didn't resign him. It's not the same money they gave him. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense at all. But yeah, that's been our free agency recap. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm not sure what we're going to be doing yet tomorrow show wise. So stay tuned for our content. I'm David Huffman right there, TJ Hopkins, and thank you very much for joining us, TJ. What we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat.
Yes, sir, we do. And man, I could use a little more heat because it was pretty cold downtown this weekend, or today at least. So I did not enjoy busting out the winter coat again, or like the semi-winter coat. But yeah,
Oh
we'll see you guys
man,
tomorrow. You guys all have a good rest of your day. I've been David. There's TJ. Have a good night. Peace out, brother.
see you, man.